Hello and welcome to a cold and cloudy Everett Memorial Stadium as your first place Everett Merchants play host to the second place Northwest Honkers. Ryder Vane on the mound for your Merchants, facing off against leadoff man Evi Sabat. Sabat. I am joined today by Washington State University alumni and host of the podcast Bonus Baseball, Jacob Bansberg. We had a slight delay on the field for some equipment issues by the Merchants dugout. Jacob, welcome to the broadcast.
Happy to be here. I'm happy that I could be ushered in by an equipment violation call. It's I feel like that's every broadcaster's dream.
Always a great way to start a game. Is something wrong with someone's dugout? Starting off with Ryder Vane today. A couple appearances for the Merchants this season. As his first pitch is a called strike in the knees. We are underway. Ryder Vane, 2 appearances on the year, 1 start, 7 innings pitched, giving up 2 runs, both earned on 7 hits and 3 walks, 8 strikeouts, and a 2.57 ERA. Second pitch to Sabat is outside, 1-1. Take a look at Sabat's stats on the season. .391 batting average over 6 games, 9 hits, a double, and 3 walks. This pitch upstairs, 2-1. Sabat will be followed by Hiroaki Yonakura at second base. Abel Gonzalez at third, as this pitch is just outside, 3-1. Hayden Matre plays left field, hits fourth. Cameron Perjone hitting fifth at first base. Adam Paganelli in right field hits sixth. Colby Holmdahl is the designated hitter, followed by Kendall Yackley as this ball hits sharply but foul. It'll fill the count. Kendall Yackley at shortstop's your 8-hole hitter, and rounding things off is the catcher Tommy Lindgren for the Northwest Honkers. We'll take you on a tour of the Everett's defense. Jack Johnson at third base, Lundberg at short, Barber at second. That's a broken bat for Sabat, although we get a new piece of lumber. Barber at second base has been extraordinary in the field to go along with his great plate discipline, leads the team in walks, and not much has gotten by him on the right side of the infield. It's hard to overstate the importance of a good defensive second baseman. And Will Heron will get the start at third base. We'll give you the outfield in just a moment. This pitch is a well-hit line drive ball into center field for a base hit. And a good piece of hitting by Sabat to lead things off.
That's pretty good.
Second baseman, number 6, Hiroaki Yonakura.
You got to look at that .391 batting average, and you think there's a reason he's got a number that high. So
there absolutely is. As Yonakura is not far behind, .364 batting average in 10 games played, 4 doubles and a pair of home runs. 12 RBIs leads the team. Moved to first base, nothing doing. Fisher, Ackles, and Alberghini from left to right in the outfield, and your starting battery is Ryder Vane and Gunnar Shotani. It's pitch upstairs, 1-0. Vane slated for a full start tonight, followed likely by Jack Fenton, and closing out the game, if all goes according to plan, is the designated hitter Aiden Van Rinsum. Another move, it's a good one, but not quite in time.
That's Abel Gonzalez.
Swing and a miss. Good pitch.
That was a firm hack right there. You can tell where those 2 home runs on the year come from.
Absolutely. Still finds a way to bat for average, though. It's a .360 hitter. Upstairs.
I think average is the way to go tonight. You said it was cool and cloudy here, and as high as the walls are here in Everett Memorial Stadium, home run's going to be at a premium tonight.
They are indeed. Winds also blowing in slightly from right field, so it's going to be swatting down some of those would-be home runs. Out and away, 3-1. Second consecutive 3-ball count to start the game for Ryder Vane. On deck is Abel Gonzalez. Gonzalez hitting .414 in 7 games, and that ball hits him. And the first 2 men aboard for the Northwest Honkers.
That's I feel like that's never how you want to take ball 4, you know? If it's outside the strike zone, the last thing you want to do is get hit by ball 4 there.
Just walk me. You don't have to hit me.
Number 10, Abel Gonzalez.
We take a quick peek at the Everett Merchants, or rather the Pacific International League standings. Everett Merchants on top with a record of 4-1 in conference play. They are 5-2 overall as a game. One of our exhibition games has not been put in the computer yet. Northwest Honkers 5-2 on the year, just right behind the Merchants on a win percentage differential, but a 5-game heater for the Honkers in conference play. They started the year 0-2, have won 5 straight. Seattle Blackfin 7-4. This pitch is just inside 1-0. Redmond Dudes, bit of a turbulent start to the season, 4-5. And the Seattle Machine Studs stumbling out of the gates, 1-2. That's a team that wins the league more years than they don't. Tied with the Dub C Fish Sticks for 6th, or rather for 5th, and then the Gumbaroos alone at the bottom. A runner goes and a stolen bag on a ball, and runners on the corners with nobody out. Teams have been able to run against this Merchant team. We'll see if that plays a factor in this ball game. From the stretch, Vane comes home. Runner goes. This pitch is a called strike, no throw down. And runners on second and third with still nobody out. And a hitter's count. Go ahead.
Probably a smart call there not to throw down to second base. You could tell the guy from third was looking on, an errant throw, and the run scores there.
Yeah, tough situation. Even a good throw, the run might come home in that situation. This Honkers team is one that always likes to run, as that's a called strike, 2-2. And maybe a bit of a favorable call, but the Merchants and Ryder Vane will take anything they can get at this point.
See if he goes back to that spot. He's going to get that call. He might find his way back there.
There's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Good breaking ball for the first out of the game.
It's a big strikeout right there. Second and third, nobody out. That's a strikeout you got to have.
An out in play likely scores a run there, so it's absolutely imperative to get him out at the base if you can. Hayden Matre playing left field for the Honkers tonight, batting 506 games, so this lineup just never quits for the Northwest Honkers. 12 hits, 2 doubles, or rather 4 doubles, 2 triples, and a home run. And this ball clubbed out to right center field. Looking up as Alberghini play it at the warning track. Both runners will tag, and the Honkers will take an early 1-0 lead. Two outs for the Northwest Honkers. 1 run on 1 hit, no errors. And Cameron Padron, the big first baseman, climbs in.
19, Cameron Padron.
Padron batting .345 on the year with a pair of doubles in 8 games played. Taken for a called strike.
Well, you were right on that. You know, you look at the numbers of this team, and the batting averages just never seem to take a break here. Everybody's 300, 400. This is going to be a tough lineup for Ryder to get through tonight.
12 position players for the Honkers with a batting average over 300. So that ball fouled away quickly, 0-2 for Vane. And 10 players with the batting average over 300 with at least 6 games played. So legitimate averages from top to bottom. Merchants already in an early hole. 1-0 runner on third base, but the count's 0-2. Vane can limit the damage. Here's the pitch. On the way, a slow breaking ball missing outside. Ackles, Lenberg, Barber, and Heron do up for the Merchants in the bottom half of the frame. Here's the 1-2 pitch. It's a soft ground ball foul, and we'll do it again.
Nice play over there by the Honker bench. Get that ball back in.
Gonzalez dancing off the bag. This pitch outside, moved back. And there won't be a move to first, as rather that is Yona Kura at third. 2-2, 2 out. Runner on at third base. It's hard to overstate how important this out is. A 1-0 game is a lot different than 2-0 this early in the contest. That'll fill the count. Honkers offense averaging 6.3 runs per conference game. Payoff pitch on the way. It's a chopper to second base. Barber's got to hurry. He's got it. And the throw over is off the line, but the tag applied And that will retire the side. Merchants give up a run on a base hit, and the Honkers strand a man. We head to the bottom half of the first. Your Merchants trail the Honkers 1-0. Welcome back. Merchants trail the Honkers 1-0 after the top of the first. Zaya Ackles will lead things off. Center fielder, four-year Everett Merchants. He'll face Mason Heimer of the Northwest Honkers. And he has been spectacular this season. 3 games played, 2 starts, 10 innings pitched. He's given up no runs on 2 base hits, 5 walks, or rather 4 hits, 5 walks, 8 strikeouts, no record, and a 0.00 ERA. He's given up 2 unearned runs, but it's hard to count that against the pitcher. 1-1 the count on Zaya Ackles. Ackles batting .313 on the season. 5 hits, 2 doubles, and an RBI to go with 2 walks. Zaya, the nephew of first base coach Corey Ackles, a long-term Merchant player himself. Ball trickles all the way to the backstop, 3-1. We might be in for an offensive showdown tonight.
I'm sure hoping so. It's the best time to get behind a microphone here is when there's plenty of action.
Makes things exciting for sure. Heimer delivers the 3-1. Inside, 5-pitch walk to lead off the inning.
It's a good way to start chipping away at it. Got to get people on base.
Merchants have always been a team that likes to move the line, string together some singles, get some runners on any way they can. And it's a good start in that category here. Braden Lundberg, and I think some stats are missing from his sheet. It says he's only played in 1 game. Early in the year, stats get a little bit odd sometimes, but Lundberg has been hitting the heck out of the baseball. We'll see what he can do here. That ball just upstairs, 1-0. 24 pitches in the first inning for Ryder Vane. Move low and away. Runner goes. Pass ball is going to move the runner ahead. And Zaya took a wide turn at second base, but wisely, stayed put.
That was pretty good. Ackles kind of did a fake move, a fake steal of second base there, and once the ball got by, he was able to fully take advantage of that, and he was already halfway to second base.
Yeah, and having the speed at the top of the lineup is so valuable, especially in a league like this. This pitch called strike. Ackles is not afraid to go. Neither is Jonah Scholl, who's coming off the bench tonight, likely as a pinch runner at some point when the Merchants need some speed on the base paths. We were supposed to have an exhibition game on Saturday, but the college, or rather the high school showcase team, as this ball is grounded to short, throw to third, and it's in time. Ackles thrown out on the fielder's choice. 6-5 the put out, and boy, that was quite the play by Yackley and Gonzalez to record the out on the lead runner.
That was tough. He kind of found himself in between there. He did that fake steal a third again. He was kind of halfway in between when the ball was hit that way. He decided to commit to it. Probably should have gone back in that situation.
Yeah, it's a tough call for sure. No one's covering second in that on that play, so it's likely a safe move to get back. But if you have a runner on third with only one out, that's a big spot for your offense.
Tough to lose that guy in a 1-0 game, though. Obviously, plenty of time still to come back, but tough to lose a runner in scoring position that early.
Absolutely is. As I was mentioning, Ackles and Scholl, plenty of speed. Merchants were supposed to have an exhibition game against a high school showcase team on Saturday, but the team thought the game was Sunday, and Saturday was graduation for that high school, so everyone was at graduation. Instead, the Merchants played an inter-team scrimmage, and Scholl and Ackles absolutely dominated the base paths. That ball fouled away, 2-1. On two separate occasions, those players stole second and third on consecutive pitches.
Really? That's how you keep the line moving.
No shortage of speed in those guys. Two and one. Lundberg on at first base, and he's chased back to the bag. Mason Heimer struggling to find the zone early. 12 pitches, only 4 of them for strikes.
Looks like we got some action in the bullpen already for the Honkers.
We do. Another move to first base. This is a mandatory batter. I can't believe we're talking about that already. He probably shouldn't be. I think they'll let him take the first unless things really fall apart. Fouled off 2-2.
Hopefully nobody's parked down in that direction.
We've had a couple of near incidents with parked cars before. Hopefully we don't have any of that today. Jaden Yackley, or rather, no, that is number 2. That is Gunnar Graves warming up in the Honkers bullpen. Another move to first base. And I'll tell you, Lundberg is not getting that big of a lead at first. Merchants have a bit of a reputation as a running team, but not enough that I'd imagine you'd be chasing Lundberg back in this spot. 2-2. Runner goes. High ball. The throw down is not in time. Swinging around the tag. Lundberg trying to manufacture some offense here with a stolen base.
That was a really good slide right there. When that throw initially went off to second base, I thought, ooh, that thing might be in time. But like you said, a nice swim around the tag, able to slide in safely right there.
Nice throw down by Lindgren, absolutely. The athlete is not able to get the tag down. Runner goes. The pitch is a ground ball to second. Throw over in time for the out, but Lundberg gets to third on the play, and the Merchants running early and often to start this ballgame.
Took advantage of a hit and run right there.
37, Will Everett.
I like the aggressiveness of this team. I talked to Harold Pyatt and Bo Blacken a few days ago about how good this team looks on the base paths, and I'm glad to see them taking advantage of this strength of this lineup. First baseman Will Heron digs in. .313 batting average on the season, 5 hits, 4 of them doubles.
You'd like to think on a colder night in a bigger ballpark, speed will probably play a little bit more here. As the power goes down, the importance of speed is it's going to be amplified on a night like tonight.
Absolutely. Some home runs might turn into sacrifice flies. You got to be able to take advantage. 1-1 the count. On deck is the designated hitter Aiden Van Rinsum, who's slotted to close the game tonight for the Merchants. Likely only to be used in the 9th, as the Merchants would like to not lose their designated hitter spot if they can help it before then. Two and one. Runner at third, no 2 outs. Here's the pitch. It's a foul off Little spray shot off the first base side, and we'll see a 2-2 pitch.
You can tell based on the last couple swings and kind of where they've gotten foul, you can tell he's looking to go the opposite way here. See if he can take advantage of that, throw one into right field here.
Here's the 2-2 on the way just outside. Oh, strike 3, and that'll retire the side. Lundberg stranded at third. We head to the top of the second, 1-0 Honkers. Welcome back to Everett. 1-0 Honkers in the top of the second inning. Ryder Vane back on the mound facing right fielder Adam Paganelli, as that's a hot shot grounder to short. Lundberg got to be quick, and it is in time at first base.
That's a good looking pick right there.
Will Heron able to get the glove on that one. One pitch, one out for Ryder Vane. It'll bring up Colby Holmdahl, the designated hitter.
Those short hops always look like they're so hard to corral when you see them on TV, and in person they don't look any easier.
It's so tough. I took infield with the Merchants, I'd say 3 years ago now, at third. Just one round, and it was the hardest thing I've ever had to do on an athletic field at any level. I fielded 0 balls cleanly, but I was able to keep most of them in front of me, so I got some props for that, but it's hard. And those were like nice looking, pretty grounders, so it's a hard thing to do, absolutely.
I'm not going to ask about the rest of your athletic career based on
that.
You probably shouldn't ask about mine either.
No. The 2-0 on the way is a hot ground ball to first. Heron will take it himself for out number 2. Holmdahl retired on that ground out. 414 batting average in 9 games played. Kendall Yackley, 400 batting average in 6 games played. As we talked about earlier, one of the deepest lineups you'll ever see. And it's early in the year. None of these guys have even played 10 games. But still, impressive. Big swing and a miss, looping breaking ball for strike 1.
Funny thing about baseball is, too, as impressive as 414 is, and that is really impressive, it still means you're retired more than you're not retired,
That's
right?
True.
So
That's
odds
true.
are always in the pitcher's favor.
From the stretch, the 0-1 is just a cold strike.
That's a nasty pitch to find the inside corner right there.
It's a little bit of a wide zone tonight through an inning and a half. Vane always working from the stretch. Very quick delivery home. Here's the 0-2 on the way. It's a little bit of a flare shot. Corralled at short by Lundberg. 1-2-3 go the Honkers. When we come back, Merchants will send Van Rinsum, Fisher, and Shotani to the plate, looking to erase a 1-0 deficit. Welcome back. Aiden Van Rinsum leading off in the bottom of inning number 2. He had a mammoth home run to left field in the inter-squad scrimmage on Saturday, and the count is 1-0 here in the bottom of the second. Heimer delivers. The 1-0 is a swing and a miss, 1-1.
You can tell he's feeling himself after that grand slam the other day.
Yes, Van Rinsum, no shortage of power. And he's a bat that you basically have to have in the lineup. 2-1.
I'm curious to see if the arm will play as well as the bat does when we get to the 9th inning here.
Yeah, we have not seen him on the mound yet, so we will. I'm looking forward to that as well. Middle infield shaded slightly towards the corners, called strike. 2-2.
Looked like that was at the knees, maybe even a little bit below.
Bo Blacken coaching third base for the Merchants. Corey Ackles at first. The 2-2 swing and a miss. High fastball for out number 1. In comes Keaton Fisher.
Now batting for 33, Keaton Fisher.
Left base for the Merchants today. He's played at first and designated hitter so far this season. .333 batting average. 4 hits, one of them a triple, another a home run, and 5 walks. Good plate discipline all around for the Merchants this season. Here's the pitch. Away. 1-0. The one seemingly exception to that rule is Will Heron. However, he had a big 4 strikeout night, 3 of them looking, and I don't think any of those strike threes were on the plate. As a bad night for the home plate umpire, both sides complained throughout the game. So it's been good to see him get back into a groove. He's been hitting the ball hard. And Keaton Fisher, his first base platoon, getting a start out in left field to get his bat in the lineup.
I feel like there can't be a more frustrating feeling in baseball than striking out and looking on a pitch outside of the zone. You do everything right and ultimately not rewarded for it.
Yeah, that was a tough one, too. Swing and a miss. 2-2 the count. That was the first home game of the season for the Merchants. A 5-3 win, but the offense was really shining. A hard hit ball to Yackley. He'll throw across in time for out number 2. It's a game where 5 runs didn't seem like enough for the way the offense was performing. 5-3, the game that you really would have liked to not have been a 2-run game at the end, but a win is a win in the PIL. Merchants on top of the division currently. You hope to see that continue as catcher Gunnar Shotani climbs in.
If they're going to stay on top, this would be a big one to win given how the standings are shaping up so far.
It's a very important game. A virtual tie broken by winning percentage currently between these two sides. The Honkers have played a lot more games in conference than the Merchants have, however. So Everett with a few games in hand in case they need them later in the year. This ball hit hard, but popped up down in foul territory. Padron over, and he makes the catch a couple steps away from the fence. It's a 1-2-3 bottom of the second. We had come back. Merchants will look to hold the Honkers at a run. Welcome back. Top three, Ryder Vane facing off against 9-hole hitter and catcher for the Northwest Honkers, Tommy Lindgren.
Here's the pitcher.
Did a much better job in that second inning, kind of limiting his pitch count. You said 24 pitches in the first inning.
And a line out.
And on cue. One
Jack-
pitch, one out.
Jack Johnson snaring that hard hit ball, and as you mentioned, 24 pitches in the first, only 9 pitches in the second inning, so really able to limit his pitch count as Sabat will climb in. He singled to center and scored the only run of the game so far, back in the top of the first. Sabat only hitting .391 on the season, 6th best average on the team.
I don't know about that. He's 0 for 1, right?
1 for 1. He did single back in the first.
One for-
but
my bad.
Yes. That means he's due for an out, if you ask me. 0-1. Here's the pitch. It's a little flare shot on the run. Lundberg can't get to it. Caught in between Lundberg and Fisher. 2 for 2 night to start the ball game for Sabat. Both hits for the Honkers so far tonight have come from their leadoff man.
Now batting number 6, Hiroaki Yanakura.
If you ask me, that's good lineup construction. If you're going to get 2 hits from anybody, it might as well be the leadoff hitter.
It absolutely is. Yanakura up to bat now. He was hit by a pitch on ball 4 back in the first. That's a ground ball base hit up the left side and first 2 men reach, or rather the first 2 after the leadoff outreach. Both to left field, and a tricky spot for Ryder Vane again. He labored through the first. We'll see if he can pick things up here in the third. Abel Gonzalez struck out swinging back in the third. Sabat diving back to second with nobody covering as Vane stepped off the rubber. From the stretch, Vane comes home. Runner goes. Both runners go. Snared by Vane. The only play is the first. Runner goes home. The play at the plate is not in time. Goodness. Give both batters a stolen base. So 2-0 the score on a funky play.
Well, we are at Funko Field, you know.
We are
Stranger
indeed.
things have happened. That was really good base running awareness right there. As the ball went to first base, he read it the whole way. He was rounding third and thought he might as well use his speed to go home at that point.
Absolutely. Sabat's second run of the game so far. Moved to second base just late. So a double steal and a 1-3 RBI groundout. Weird. Weird play. Runner on at second with 2 away. Here's the pitch. It's a line falling. Fair ball into right field gloved. The only play is to second base. Right out is first is the out at second base. So a run will score on the single and the out advancing. Honkers will lead 3-0 as we head to the bottom of the third. Welcome back. Kai Alberghini climbs in looking to chip away at this advantage. Early 3-0 lead here in the bottom of the third inning for the Northwest Honkers. First pitch is low by Mason Heimer. Despite 2 runs in the top of the third, Vane is keeping his pitch count at a very reasonable level. 37 pitches through 3. He only threw 6 pitches in that 2-run top of the third. That won't mean much consolation to him. I don't think he cares how many pitches he throws to give up 2 runs. That's in an inning. He won't be happy with that effort. But some weird things happened in that inning. 2 pretty soft hit balls, a double steal, and a RBI ground out to the pitcher. Rare you see that.
You forgot that the inning ended on a guy getting thrown out at second base.
It did.
All of that happens in 6 pitches.
The shortstop caught the ball when the runner was maybe halfway to second base. It was a bizarre play, to say the least. 1-2, Heimer delivers. It's low and away. Gets away, but no one on. 2-2.
I hesitate to say it. I almost feel like we're due for some normal baseball.
We just might be.
But who knows? When it rains, it pours, so maybe not.
And you never know what you're going to get when these 2 teams play. They've played some bizarre games. 2-2 on the way. Just inside 3-2. Don't want to call that one too early. This zone has been quite wide.
I felt you were pretty good calling that one, of all things.
As soon as I get comfortable making a call, though, it goes the other way. Payoff pitch coming. Here it comes. That's a swing and a miss. Low breaking ball. First strike 3. Jack Johnson climbs in. 9-hole hitter. .333 batting average on the season. He's been a great glove at the hot corner.
I feel like given all the things that the team trusts you to do, I feel like umpires should naturally be next on the board. You might as well call balls and strikes from up here.
I haven't called balls and strikes. I've done some umpiring in our inner team scrimmages at first base. It's hard. That's all I'm gonna say. That ball fouled away.
What's harder, calling balls and strikes or throwing somebody out of the game?
I haven't had to do that. I haven't had to eject.
Oh, then you're not a real umpire then.
I think you're right. Yeah, you got to throw someone out before. I think they should make you throw someone out before you umpire in a real game, just so you get the feeling. It's exceedingly rare for a player to be thrown out in the PIL. Comes with a 2-game suspension if a player's thrown out. It's only happened once that I know of since I've been broadcasting. This ball is a well-hit ball to center field. Savitt looking up, and will make the play in left center field for a very long out number 2. And that's what we talked about. Cold weather, a little bit of wind coming in from the outfield. Not a lot of balls going to get out today.
Sometimes it's tough to tell from this angle, but off the bat you're thinking maybe that has a chance to maybe bang off the wall, but ultimately run down just shy of the warning track right there.
And if it wasn't the deepest alley in the PIL, it might have had a chance.
Yeah, it's bad enough that you go 390 to borderline dead center. Then you got to climb, what is that, a 15, 18-foot wall on top of that?
Something like that, yeah. First pitch to leadoff man Zaya Ackles. It's a little low. 1-0. Ackles walked and was erased on a fielder's choice at third base. Called strike on the inside corner, 1-1. As I was mentioning, very rare that a player gets ejected in the PIL. Merchants have only had, that I know of, has only had 1 player ejected since I've been broadcasting, and it was on a, get this, a National League, or a National Anthem standoff.
Really?
Both players refused to take their spot in the dugout. Umpire threw both players out. Harold Pyatt was furious because it was his starting third baseman. They had to pull him from the lineup. Thankfully, the game hadn't started, so that was one of his 2-game suspensions, but he missed the next league game, too. That was thankfully, the Merchants were able to win both of those games, because if that cost Everett a win, I don't know what Harold would have done. That would have been...
I can imagine as a coach that's infuriating. It's one thing on balls and strikes, something game-related, but when it's something... I guess these guys are in college for a reason.
Yes, they're still learning, absolutely. The 3-1 is fouled away. We'll see a payoff pitch with 2 away. On deck is Braden Lundberg, should he be needed. The young fan runs over to get that foul ball and collect himself a Harold buck.
I've never gotten a foul ball at a baseball game before. I feel like if I was going to do it, this would be the time to do it.
It's definitely the time, absolutely. maybe we'll get one in the box tonight. The payoff pitch is low and away. Ball 4. A 4-pitch full count walk for Zaya Ackles will bring up Braden Lundberg.
So if a ball came into the press box, does your gut reaction reach for the ball, or does your gut reaction protect your equipment?
It is probably protects the equipment, if I'm honest. Although I kind of think that if you're going for the ball, it saves the equipment a lot of times. So I have very bad luck with catching baseballs from the stands. My buddy who lives in Portland gives me such a hard time for this. Twice I've had a home run ball hit right towards me, and both I've missed it so badly. One of them I made him miss getting it, and I still hear about that.
I feel like at some point you got to start bringing the glove to the game.
It might be that time, honestly. It's when you miss 2, it's a problem. Ball low, 1-0. Lundberg grounded into the fielder's choice that erased Ackles back in the first.
This is the second time we've seen this from Ackles when he's been on base. Right as the pitch gets thrown, he kind of does a mock steal of first base. Ultimately, that's what led to him getting erased at third base last time.
It is a very aggressive secondary lead. Move back. Nothing doing.
Tell you what, it's definitely enough to get the pitcher's attention.
It is, and that's half the battle sometimes if you're a speedy guy on first. Early lights on at the stadium. The overcast keeping the light a little bit lower than you'd expect. Runner goes. The pitch is a line shot. Base hit in left field. Ackles round second. He's heading to third. He'll get a stop sign and a single after a walk puts runners on the corners with 2 away. Little hit and run action for Braden Lundberg, and Zaya Ackles works to perfection, puts them on the corners.
The hit and run is such a beautiful thing when it works to perfection. Ultimately, when it doesn't, sometimes it's a little tricky, but
it's often worth the risk, especially with 2 outs. You're not doubling anyone out.
This would be the FX page that I wiped out and then put all your stuff in, and now it's gone.
It is. It's gotta be. I bet you there's somewhere.
So
Yeah,
quick
no, all the songs are there.
stoppage in play
It took
as a spike pick brought out to starter Heimer to clean out his shoes. Rained a bit earlier this morning as there was tarps on the mound and the dirt around home plate, but still a bit muddy around the edges because those tarps aren't perfect. It's also pretty easy to get some water on the dirt when you're pulling those tarps off. That's what everyone forgets.
I would imagine you can look around the outer edge of the mound there, and you can tell a little bit of wet spots there, but not as bad as it could have been.
No.
I live pretty close to the stadium, and it did stop raining about 1 o'clock. So, fortunately, not that close to game time for us today. Presentable field.
Yes, absolutely. What you might not be able to see on the broadcast, because this ball is grounded to second. Yonakura, the throw over in time for the outs. I'll hold that thought for the next half inning. 4-3 to put out. Merchant strand a pair. We head to the top of the 4th. It's still 3-0 Honkers. Welcome back. Cameron Verdone leading off against starter Ryder Vane. 3-0 here in the top of the 4th inning. First pitch bounces in for a ball 1-0. We were talking between innings about no-hitters and when a no-hitter should count and when it shouldn't. We brought up a no-hitter that Washington State baseball team lost 3-1 or some score like that. And we talked about whether an 8-inning, as that ball looked to be well off the plate, but a called strike. Whether an 8-inning no-hitter should count. You didn't pitch the ninth because you were losing. And then, Jacob, you brought up a 7-inning no-hitter back in the COVID year. What's your thoughts on that? What constitutes a no-hitter?
That's tough. I feel like I've talked about this with my friends at nauseum. I feel like if you throw the full regulation game and you don't allow a hit, it's a no-hitter,
Interesting. So in your mind, if you throw... Now, this might not be what you mean, so clarify if you need
absolutely.
to. If a game is tied after 9 and you allow a hit in the 10th, is that a no-hitter?
No, absolutely not.
Okay, so you have to finish the game.
No, because we've seen this before. I remember when we were in college, Rich Hill of the Dodgers threw a game where he went back out. He threw a perfect 9 innings, came out for the 10th and allowed a walk-off home run. That's not a perfect game.
On the first pitch, I think.
Was
or
it
the
the
first
first
batter.
pitch?
It was a leadoff man for sure.
I referenced the game. It's the perfect game that never happened.
I felt so bad for him. 2-2 on the way. It's a line shot in the center field. Ackles, it will make the play right at him. Hardly had to move.
I feel like the real question is, obviously games are final after 5 innings. If rain or anything like that were to happen, would that be a no-hitter if you got a 6-inning inclement weather? Because that's not the full regulation. We're talking philosophy.
We are. Baseball philosophy. You gotta get there eventually. Is a no-hitter is 9 innings, or a no-hitter is the scheduled regulation. This ball falling fast, diving play. Caden Fisher for the outs. Webb Jim in left for out number 2.
He gained a ball. He lost his sunglasses. I'm gonna bring it up.
Yeah, a trade will make.
I would make it today. Why is he even wearing sunglasses today?
Excellent point. That's an excellent point. He doesn't need it. Sun's about to go down too.
The sun has never felt further away than it does right now.
Colby Homedale. Homedale takes a called strike on the outside plate, heart of the plate, 0-1. So, getting back to the baseball philosophy, I think the two proper stances are 9 innings or more. 9 innings or finish the game without allowing a hit, or finish the scheduled distance of the game.
Well, I would draw a firm line, like I said with the Rich Hill thing. I don't care if you go 9 innings. If you don't finish the game, it's not a no-hitter.
Yes, agreed. You have to finish the game. I'm with you there. Absolutely.
Must be an official game.
Yes, let's go in the stats. That gets complicated too. Well, okay, so here's the question. This is so rare, hardly even have to bring it up. Imagine, if you will, a starter goes 6 innings. Rain comes in. It's the last game of the series. They suspend the game. Okay. We pick the game back up 2 months from now when those teams play each other again.
Mm-hmm.
The reliever, the bullpen comes in, finishes the game without allowing a hit. Is that a no-hitter?
That's an easy one. That's a combined no-hitter.
Okay.
That's an easy one.
I'm okay with that. I'm fine with saying that's a no-hitter.
That's a no-hitter, but the pitcher doesn't get credit for the no-hitter. That's a team no-hitter.
Team no-hitter? Okay, I like that. I'm fine with that. This happens the first year of the Rob Manfred rule with the runner on second base. This happened in the minor leagues. Okay, this ball is a high chopper, but foul. We'll do it again. 2-2 the count. Combined perfect game, which is a question which some people have problems with calling a combined perfect game a perfect game anyways. It's never happened, so we don't have to worry about it.
I wouldn't have a problem with that.
I wouldn't either, but there's some
discussion.
people that have issues with that.
27 up, 27 down.
Yeah, it's a
Pitcher
perfect
doesn't
game.
get credit for it, but the team does.
Yeah,
that's an
absolutely.
easy one.
2-2. Little low. We'll see a payoff pitch. So it was the first year of the Manfred rule. Perfect game for the visiting team. Visiting team doesn't score in the top of the 10th. Home team comes up, bunts the runner over, sacrifice fly, scores the run, game over. Is that a combined perfect game?
Yeah.
Pop up in foul territory. Shotani taking a look, and he'll make the play for out number 3. We'll get your thoughts on that in the bottom of the 4th inning. 3 up, 3 down for the Honkers. We head to the bottom of the 4th. Merchants looking for a run. Welcome back. Will Heron climbs in. Facing the Honker starter Mason Heimer in the top of the fourth. Or rather, the bottom of the fourth.
Forgot you were at a home stadium.
I did. I got a little confused there. That ball bounces through.
got through everyone.
1-0. You have to remind me. What were we holding? What were we staying tuned for? You had a thought that you were going to bring up.
Well, the thought was whether or not. So you brought up a AA game.
Yes.
The thought was, and I don't know specifically which game you're talking about as to the AA game where there was a perfect game and then you went into the 10th inning. Mm-hmm. You had the Rob Manfred ghost rule. The road team who was throwing the perfect game did not score, and then ultimately in the bottom of the 10th, that team did not have anybody reach base, but they started with a runner on second base. There was a bunt, a sac fly, and ultimately they lost the game. And I believe the question was, does that constitute a perfect game? So hopefully I summed that up well.
You did, yes, absolutely.
And I think we're discussing it.
Ground ball, Lundberg, or rather, Yackley, the throw over in time for out number one. It'll bring up Van Rinsen, the designated hitter. Anyways,
we were talking about this a little bit behind the scenes, and I said there's no way that you can constitute that as a perfect game. You would have to invent a different term for it, or maybe just chuck it under notable achievement.
Yes.
Because I think when you a no-hitter is easy, right? Did you have a hit? Did you not have a hit? But a perfect game is perfection. You can't lose a game that's defined as perfect.
Absolutely.
Because ultimately you aren't perfect. A perfect game is no base runners, but also no runs. Mm-hmm. At least that's how I would constitute it in my mind.
I agree. So here's a question.
Okay.
Let's say that visiting team had scored in the top of the 10th. That ball fouled away 1-1. So visiting team scores in the top of the 10th. They're up 1-0.
Okay.
If that runner moves from second to third, but they don't win the game, is that a perfect game? So let's say there was a ground out, runner moves up, and then 2 more outs.
Okay. Yeah.
Is that a perfect game?
Yeah, absolutely
Okay.
It is. Absolutely. Yeah, if the ghost runner were to move to third base but not score, yeah, I would agree.
I would tend to agree as well.
Because it's not his fault that the runner's on second base, but ultimately, in a perfect game, it's your job to prevent that runner from scoring. And if you do that and you win the game, it's a perfect game in my book.
I like that. That makes sense. That makes sense to me.
But hey, I'm just one guy, so I got no stake in Rob Manfred's rule book.
We were talking that when Rob Manfred's inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame, which I don't know if this is a little known fact, but I was surprised when I heard it. Every commissioner in the history of Major League Baseball is in the Hall of Fame or is currently the commissioner of Major League Baseball. So if you're the commissioner, you're going to the Hall of Fame. Paragraph 1 will be the pitch clock and the ghost runner on second base, which brings up the pitch clock.
Well,
Jacob, what are your thoughts on the pitch
clock? Before you go
clock?
to the pitch clock, I do want to add something. I think it's fair that the commissioners get added as much as they may be loved or hated, right? Mm-hmm. Because the whole point of the Hall of Fame...
This well hit ball to center field. Savitt on the run. He'll make the play a few steps short of the warning track.
Balls are dying today.
Yeah, it looks like it was hit well better than that.
There's no win.
But out number 2 recorded. Keaton Fisher climbs in, 6-3 ground out, his first appearance.
The whole point of the Hall of Fame, right, is to be able to tell the story of baseball through players,
Yep.
right? And those who had a major impact on the game. So, love or hate Rob Manfred, love or hate any of the other commissioners, you cannot tell the story of baseball without bringing up baseball's most influential official figures. So, that would be my take on that.
I
So,
agree. I'm with you. The Hall of Fame is about telling the story of whatever sport your Hall of Fame is. And if you can't tell the story of the player or of the game without that player should be in the Hall of Fame. That's my general stance on that.
I agree with that. Are we looking at 2 outs right now?
We are.
See, it's always a dangerous thing to ask me to tee me up a question.
It is. So. Maybe we table that conversation.
Table the pitch clock discussion, because it'll be a little bit ironic if I got pitch clocked here. You know,
you probably would. That
right out of the
way 2-1. Ghost runner rule is implemented here in the Pacific International League. We've had mixed reviews, mixed thoughts on whether the shift rule has been implemented in the PIL. We know the pitch clock isn't. We'll talk about the pitch clock in the next inning. This ball grounded past the second baseman, Yona Kura, into right field, a 2-out base runner for the Everett Merchants. That is becoming a common thread for the Merchants, second inning in a row where they've recorded 2 quick outs and then got a runner aboard. We'll see if they can do something with it this time. As Shotani climbs in, making the inning-ending catch in the top half of the 4th on a foul ball into the Merchants on deck circle.
If you're going to score a run with 2 outs in these conditions, you really got to manufacture one here. You can tell that the runner on first is really looking at second base right now with the second baseman playing a little bit off the base here. That or you throw one in the gap. Either one works for me.
Score any way you can. A reminder, the Merchants have Jonah Scholl on the bench tonight. One of the faster players the Merchants have ever had. And he's been swinging a hot bat. There's no place for him in the lineup tonight. He can come in and play a number of positions. So we'll look for him to pinch run in a high leverage situation. This likely not high leverage enough to use him this early in the game. Runner on first with 2 away already.
I imagine no manager would ever complain about having a multi-position speed demon on their bench.
Yeah, it's a pretty good thing to have, I would say.
As much as you'd love to have him in the lineup, the only place that might be as good as the bench, because you can use him however you want in this situation.
Sure, you can insert that speed and average, for that matter, wherever you see fit. Quickly 0-2 on Shotani. Here's the pitch. It's inside. Heimer thought he had a strikeout. That pitch has been called both ways. I don't blame him for wanting that call.
I think there are certain at-bats where maybe he did have a strikeout. Whether or not he should have, there are a couple at-bats where that might have gone the other way.
Fisher takes his lead. Shotani waits for the pitch from the stretch. Heimer delivers. The 1-2 pitch is upstairs, ball 2, 2-2. Left fielder Kai Alberghini on deck. And if needed, Jack Johnson in the hole. 3 runs on 4 hits for the Honkers. No runs, 2 hits for the Merchants. No errors in the game. That ball well inside. Honkers wanted a strikeout, but that one wasn't particularly close. Not saying that hasn't been called today, but that was further outside than ball 2, or inside rather. Outside, inside, off the plate.
It missed the box.
Plate either way. Payoff pitch. Move to first. Not in time. That's a smart move. Chase that runner back because he'll be on the run.
Inside, outside only matters when it hits you, you know?
Absolutely.
It's the only time you really care.
Fisher will take off on the pitch. Runner didn't quite take off. As with foul ball, we'll do it again.
Late jump, but he got there.
Reminder, with no pitch clock, there's also no limit on moves to first base. So you know, Fisher can go on as many times as he wants.
Of course, I jinxed it. I say you shouldn't tee me up with 2 outs.
And now we've got plenty of time.
We've had 3 to 5 minutes to give my full opinion on the pitch clock,
but we'll keep you listening. This is called a tease. If you come back to the top of the 5th, if you want to hear Jacob's thoughts on the pitch clock.
I'm sure that'll keep people tuning in.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure a cliffhanger like that, you'll probably draw a bigger crowd in at that point.
Text your friends. Jacob Bansberg's thoughts on the pitch clock coming up in the top of the 5th. Payoff pitch. Fisher goes. The pitch is a hot chopper, but foul. Next pitch is pitch number 8 of the at-bat. 70 pitches for Mason Heimer through 3 2/3, 38 for strikes. No action in the honker pin. Expect him to be out for the 5th. He's only thrown 52 pitches. Fisher goes. The pitch is called. Strike 3 on the inside part of the plate. Fisher can't believe it. He'll walk back to first or to the home plate dugout, bat in hand. We head to the top of the 5th inning. Tough strike